My brother didn't introduce me at his wedding like family. He introduced me like something embarrassing, something that needed a warning label. He dragged me across a ballroom filled with money, crystal lights, and people who measured worth in silence. His hand was tight around my wrist, not protective, controlling. "You should meet my father-in-law," he said smoothly. Anyone watching would think he was being polite. They wouldn't feel the grip. They wouldn't see the message. The venue was perfection. Glass walls opening into manicured lawns, chandeliers hanging like frozen stars, expensive perfume mixing with citrus drinks. Conversations floated softly, calculated, strategic. This was a room where people didn't raise their voices because they didn't need to. I didn't belong to this world. Not their version of it. I belonged to systems, to patterns, to things that work even when people don't. My name is Alina. I'm 33. I design and optimize freight networks. When systems break, I see where the pressure builds, where time is wasted, where money quietly leaks. I don't present, I don't perform, I fix things. The kind of things that cost millions when ignored. My family never understood that. In our house, success wasn't about impact, it was about appearance. Titles that sound impressive, jobs that make strangers nod at dinner, photos, applause, validation. My brother Ryan was built for that world, confident, polished, social. The kind of man who makes people feel lucky just to stand near him. And tonight, he was marrying into power. His future father-in-law owned a logistics empire across the East Coast. Ports, rail contracts, freight corridors that moved half the country's goods. For weeks, my parents had been orbiting that name like it gave them gravity. And me? I was invited like a technicality. The seating made that clear. My name sat at a corner table, partially hidden behind a decorative column. Not close enough to matter, not visible enough to question. My mother noticed me and smiled, the kind of smile that feels rehearsed. "You came," she said, her eyes scanning me like she expected something to be wrong. "No plus one?" "No," I replied, "just me." My father leaned in slightly, voice low, controlled. "Try not to draw attention." I looked at him calmly. "I've never had that problem." He didn't respond. He never does when truth is inconvenient. A few minutes later, Ryan walked over. He didn't sit, didn't ask how I was. He just glanced at my table and smirked. "Corner suits you." "Who decided that?" I asked. He shrugged. "Big night, important people." Then he leaned closer, still smiling for anyone watching. "Just don't make things awkward." "Define awkward." His voice dropped slightly. "Don't tell people you're my sister." There it was, clean, casual, like it was nothing, like I was nothing. For a second, I felt that familiar heat in my chest. Then it disappeared. Replaced by something colder, clearer. "You brought me here," I said quietly. "I invited you," he corrected. "Be grateful." That's when I stopped reacting completely. Dinner passed in waves of laughter and polished conversations. Business disguised as small talk, alliances built over wine. I stayed in my corner, observing, detached, until Ryan came back, louder now, performing. He grabbed my wrist again and pulled me toward the center of the room. People turned, not curious, entertained. We stopped in front of his father-in-law, powerful presence, calm eyes, the kind of man who doesn't chase attention because attention comes to him. Ryan smiled wider. "You should meet someone," he said. Then, without hesitation, "This is our family failure." My mother laughed lightly, stepping in. "We don't really talk about her." My father smiled like it was harmless, like it was normal. I did lower my head. Not this time. The room expected it. I didn't give it to them. Man looked at me again, not quickly, not dismissively, carefully. Something shifted in his expression, sharp, immediate. "So it's you," he said quietly. Silence spread fast. Ryan blinked. "Sorry," the man didn't look at him. "I've been looking for you." My pulse stayed steady. "I don't think we've met." "Not in person," he said, "but I know your work." The room changed. You could feel it. My mother tried to recover. "She just does small projects." "She likes results," he cut in. Then he said it. Calm, certain. "She saved my company." No one laughed after that, not one person. Later, in a private room away from the noise, he told me everything. Years ago, during a major logistics crisis, I had built a routing model and sent it anonymously. I never expected a reply. I never got one, but they used it. It worked. It prevented massive losses. They just never found me. Until now. Then he gave me something else. A problem, bigger than before. His system was being manipulated. Routes altered. Costs inflated. Money disappearing through complexity. "Find it," he said. I didn't hesitate, not for him, for the truth. When I got home, I started working, mapping everything, every route, every delay, every anomaly. Patterns don't lie. People do. Within days, the system started speaking. And it led to one name. Ryan. I didn't react emotionally. I verified. rebuilt the data. Cross-checked everything until doubt had nowhere left to exist. Then he showed up at my door, perfect as always, controlled. "We need to talk." "We don't," I said. He stepped closer anyway. "You don't understand what you're getting into." I looked at him steadily. "I understand exactly." Then he tried the one thing he always uses. "We're family." I held his gaze. "You remembered that now." Silence, then the real request. "Adjust the report," he said quietly. "Be smart." "You mean lie?" His jaw tightened. "You'll destroy everything." I shook my head slightly. "You already did, you just expected me to carry it." Boardroom, glass walls, no hiding. I presented everything, clean, structured, undeniable. The system, the manipulation, the money flow. His name connected to all of it. He tried to interrupt. Deny, control the narrative. It didn't work because truth doesn't argue. It proves. The final question came. Simple, direct. He had no answer that could save him. Everything collapsed after that. Not dramatically, not loudly, just completely. Calls, legal action, control removed, reality replacing illusion. That night my parents called. "What have you done?" my father asked. "I told the truth," I replied. "He's your brother," my mother said, breaking. I paused. "And I was your daughter." Silence. The same silence I grew up with. But this time it didn't affect me, because I wasn't waiting for it to change anymore. Weeks later, I was offered a powerful position. Title, money, recognition, everything they valued. I declined, not out of emotion, out of control. I don't need a seat at someone else's table. I build systems that don't depend on approval, and here's what I learned. People will reduce you to something small if it protects their image. Don't argue, don't prove, don't beg, just build quietly, precisely, until the truth becomes impossible to ignore. And when it does, you won't need revenge. You'll have something better, control, like subscribe. And remember, silence backed by results is the loudest power in the room.